Just a couple minor things about putting on these fork ears is that these rubber grommets are identical, all four of them. One goes on top, then one goes on the bottom. Then the fork ear gets slid in between the upper triple and the lower triple. Before I put the fork tube through the bottom of the lower triple, I'll use some WD-40 on the fork itself to make it slide through those grommets a little bit easier. This is the fork tube cap, and I'm going to polish it up before I actually put it into the top of the cap. But like I said, not much really to talk about here, except for maybe the upper pinch bolt. So I'll put this together and I'll show you what the upper pinch bolt has that is special. Yeah, so I've slid the fork tube up into the lower tree, through the fork ear, then up into the upper triple tree. On the top here, you'll see that the instrument bracket, the holding bracket for the instrument, goes underneath the fork cap. The fork cap actually holds the instrument bracket on. What I'm doing with this particular bike is, you see this? This is a booster spring. And a lot of times SL350 springs sag, especially after 30 years, and it's appropriate to put a booster in there. A lot of people use a solid piece of pipe, but I actually like using these springs, which I get from a local spring company. And it just helps out to make sure the suspension doesn't sag on you. That goes in here, like that, and then I put the cap on top. Okay? Yeah, so I put the fork cap on there. I just wanted to show that I cleaned it up and polished it, so I don't want to scratch it. And so what I'll do in this particular case is I cut a little piece of paper towel, a little square of it, and I'll put that over the nut, the fork end cap, before I put the socket over it. And then that way it just gives me a little cushion, so when I tighten it up, I don't scratch that polished aluminum fork cap that I just spent all that time on. One more little thing I want to show you before I finish this little assembly. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. You see this little washer that I have in my hand? That's kind of like a half washer. It's actually clipped. Honda has made this to insert here in the upper triple. And that's to keep you from over tightening the upper triple clamp, which is cast aluminum. If you over tighten it, you'll pinch this too much and you could actually fracture the upper triple's aluminum. So make sure that you have this little safety washer inserted in here before you put the upper pinch bolt in. I'll assemble that and I'll show you the final.